Alrighty, so I guess we have drama. This is the first time ever, surprisingly, where I have not really been that much like up to date with the drama, right? I'm pretty sure it's actually we're gonna be reacting to something, but I'm pretty sure it's drama between Pridewin and the community, and it's kind of like led by Sky, right? I don't know exactly what's going on right now. I just know that apparently Asuka was ranked triple S. Let me just show you guys so you guys have thing. But Asuka was ranked triple S for boss solos and boss ads. And I know that Sky made a video prior to this. And when I seen that video, I watched it downstairs on my TV, but that was like yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't remember. But I think what he was saying basically was like people aka Pridewin isn't like ranking based off like it was a lot. It was like he was like they're not ranking them fairly, or they're ranking like this character differently and ranking this character differently. It's like I don't really remember exactly, but maybe we'll get more context from this video. So this is called addressing Asuka's situation. Obviously, I'm gonna leave the original video down below, and I highly recommend. I'm sure you guys already watched my boy, but go ahead and watch him. I would say this is probably the most I don't want to say what I don't know what the word is to describe it, but like if you're looking for information, hit up this guy. That's what I'm saying basically. If you're looking for information, if you're looking on what to do in the game, hit up this guy. Like obviously you guys can trust me, but this guy goes based off calculations right here. This guy right here, he's the real deal. Trust and believe. So shout outs to my guy Sky. But let's see what's going on here.
Our chat. Let's have a chat right here because I think there is been some issues right now circulating, and people thinking it's drama or whatever it is, and you guys might have an idea already what it is. But as of recently, I talked about the Asuka is not SSS tier, and rightly so. A lot of people are taking a lot of the things out of context and maybe hyper fixating on particular screenshots that has come out. And again, I just wanted to make a point why I made this video. But this is like just my initial rant because there's some people that's like pinging me, asking me about so I and obviously there's a lot of things that people are assuming also, and I know like a lot of people in our community kind of just like to talk.
Pridewin in shambles. Pridewin nah, I'm gonna wait for our survivor Sky. I don't know. Like, did they? Let me see. Actually, real quick, did Pridewin actually end up saying why they gave her triple S? I know they do those like little reviews. Can I see why that was? Here, let me pause and find it. All right, so this is why. This is the reason why they gave. Let's go in here with context, y'all. So, otherworldly, offensive, and supportive capabilities that rises her to another level, which shoots up further against win enemies. Still an overall versatile profile that would work against most bosses, but much more effective when the boss is has an exposed core. Her damage more or less matches Alice and rivals Red Hood, and at the same time, she also potentially buffs the damage of Fire Code allies. Excellent synergy with Alice, Modernia, and Ray, making her the Summer Anise of Fire Team. And Ray herself does that too. Great synergy with Crown Ortia against win bosses that allow Pierce to shine through annoying shields and clustered parts. Hitboxes will also elevate her damage. Lifesteal also will Lifesteal also allows her to somewhat tank attacks that target Nikke with the highest attack. Now here's my thing. First off, when they say like is that like triple S? Like if you're saying she does a lot of damage but like is much more effective when it comes to like exposed cores, I feel like if you're gonna rank her triple S, she has to be very good even if she's not fighting a win code boss with core, right? That's what I would feel like, right? Because it's like if one character is good against this one specific boss, right? This one type of boss that's a win code and has a core, like that's where you see insane numbers. But then if they're not fighting that boss, they still do decent damage. They still do pretty good damage, but it's just not as crazy. Then like, would I give them triple S because of that one boss type, like that one type boss that they're able to hang out with and deal with? I don't think so. right? So it's like it depends on how you really rank this, how Pridewin ranks this. But I don't know. These are little questions that you guys will have to answer. Probably won't have to answer for me. I don't know. All right, let's see.
Around Pridewin in shambles, because yeah, a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, because SSS Nikke or Pridewin has rated her into SSS, and so they're thinking about that. Part of it might have seemed like it was addressing that, but at the same time also it was just addressing this general sentiment in general, and the things that were talking with me as well. And I know you guys need to calm down. Okay. Please don't harass or talk or ping or whatever that's happening on.
Okay, another thing I want to add in actually is that Pridewin has credibility, y'all. If anybody else, like a regular person, made a tier list saying Asuka's triple S, nobody's gonna care, right? But Pridewin has credibility. That's why this is like kind of like a, I guess, a problem in somewhat type of way, right? Because Pridewin has credibility, right? People go to Pridewin and come to the final conclusion, right? If the next character that drops, let's say Ray drops, and people said they don't want Ray, and Ray ends up being triple S in every single category on Pridewin's tier list, you better believe those same people that said they don't want Ray is going to go summon for Ray. Like Pridewin has an influence with their rankings. They have an influence on what people are doing with their polls, right? So keep that in mind as well. Obviously, I still think Asuka is a character that people should grab, because this is she's a very good character, right? And you can only have one chance to pull it. So of course I'm going to tell you guys to get one copy of her, right? But you know, if Pridewin is making them like the character seem a bit more than she is, then obviously I don't know if I would say, I guess that would be a problem, right? I guess it would be a problem. All right, let's get back.
On Pridewin, I have connections with people in there. I talked with some of them, and they're really nice guys. And if anything, I know a lot of people are probably just reading about the release day Ludmilla double S tier, right? Because we just love to meme about that. I think I'd like to say that I know we just like to joke around in the community, but I think some people might have been taking it a little bit too seriously, or blowing it out of the water. You know, they have been Pridewin has improved a lot already, ever since like the beginning of Nikke, and I know they have been doing their own calculations. I do my own calculations as well. One of the Pridewin people actually have reached out to me as well, and they did mention about this. Yeah, it was this screenshot, and yeah, so they did made some adjustments.
Asuka is 90% of Alice and Tia Naga. Asuka is 95% of Alice and Bunny Noir. Asuka is 93% of Alice in Crown Privity. Asuka is 75% of Alice in Crown Naga. So I guess this is like little DMs between someone from Pridewin and obviously Sky. I've talked to one person from Pridewin before. And that's when the Scarlet stuff went down. Obviously, like, I'm not someone with calculations and stuff like that. But again, I don't feel like personally, and I mean no disrespect to people who do calculations, but I don't feel like I have to do calculations to tell you if a character is good or not. I don't think, like, in any game, right? Obviously, I know probably you're going to listen to someone with calculations more than someone who's not doing calculations, because that's literally like their proof behind it. But I do not believe that you have to do calculations to I guess like give an opinion on the character. Like, I don't have to do calculations to tell you Red Hood is good, you know.
On their calculation as well. They're talking about they're just gonna make an adjustment, and they're gonna keep it triple S still, and that is fine. I do think that guides are just, and tier lists are really more about the person's like preference, individual. They have their own priority. I have some things that I do value on, and one, you know, they have their own different set of values as well on what makes them as triple S tiers. If you guys know what it is, I have a heavy focus a lot on solo raid, and especially a very top tier level. So my perspective is a little bit more skewed about that, like the competitive PvE, and especially for PvP, I actually, I've always mentioned it on stream, I don't have that much of a level of,
like, for me, y'all, let me give you guys like my little thing, right? I don't know if you guys care. But when it comes to tier list, I don't rank a character based on like how good they are in story specifically, then give them a ranking. Story like or boss specifically, then give them a ranking. I don't give them. I do a overall ranking, right? So for example, just like how Pridewind gave Blonde here triple S in only low deficit and double S in everything else, right? I don't rank it like that where there's 5 different rankings. I rank the character on how good they are in everything and I let you know if they're good or not. Maybe it's better to break it down like this, obviously, but for me, I just say like Red Hood for example is I never go triple S. I say SS is the highest tier. I think S and then double S and then triple S. I think that's just overdoing it, right? Because after triple S it becomes Z. I feel like there's just too many letters. But I would say Red Hood is the highest tier, which for me would be SS, right? And that's just because I'm considering how good she is as a burst 1 character in all content, how good she is as a burst 3 in all content, right? Obviously her burst 2 is really bad, but her being the own character who is a burst 1 and 2 and 3 character and being pretty damn good with her burst 1 and 3 really puts her at the highest tier, regardless if her like tier 2 is just garbage, right? Her burst 2 character is garbage. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't need to, like, for example, do calculations to get to that conclusion. That's just common sense, right? It's kind of what I rely on usually. But again, like Sky said, everybody ranks when it comes to tier list. Everybody's ranking and giving a different opinion. Everybody's ranking it differently. Everyone is giving them a ranking based on how they see something. It's different for everybody. So that's, yeah.
As much understanding as the other people in that, so I try to just add some things in it, and then a lot of but yeah, I just wanted to address a little bit of that. Try to Pridewind, I have nothing against Pridewind. I think they make their own calculations and have their own adjustments as well, and they have their different set of view on what units are, and I have my different set of views, and I try to explain my thoughts. If you guys haven't done so yet,
yeah,
I did post a new video, the Asuka video, where it's just titled
I think that's fair, right? Everybody can have their different like opinions, right? That's one thing this community, I mean no disrespect when I say this to the community, but that's one thing the community does not understand, right? Like a lot of you guys don't understand that everyone could have a different opinion. Just because Pridewind says Modernia is triple S tier doesn't mean that I have to say Modernia is triple S tier. Maybe I could say Modernia is a double S tier, yada yada yada, and I shouldn't be jumped for thinking this if I'm giving you somewhat valid reason on why I think Modernia is double S tier. Now obviously I don't, right? Now if you come to me and say Red Hood is or Modernia is a D tier character, bottom of the bottom, you better have God's greatest answer to why you put her there. But in reality, like, I think everyone is allowed to have a different opinion, right? And that's kind of why, like, I never feel like offended or anything when people are like, oh, I'm just gonna wait for someone who actually does calculations. Like if I do a tier list video right now, right, I promise you I'm gonna get a comment saying, this is cool and all, but I'm gonna wait to see what people who actually do calculations are saying. It's like, okay, obviously I would prefer you whatever makes you the most comfortable, right? But yeah, I'm just saying there's a reason why my channel is growing, obviously, right? People are not just subscribing to me if I'm giving false information, right? Sure, I have bad takes here and there, but my channel isn't growing because I give bad takes. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard in my life, right? I'm somewhat of a decent Nikke YouTuber when it comes to sharing some type of information. So, hey, a little promotion to myself. Make sure you guys subscribe. We're on the road to 20,000.
Asuka, talking about just Asuka as a unit, and so just go and like my thoughts on her. You guys will see much more, maybe less ranty than what I had on that as well on the not SS tier. And again, this was just addressing kind of like the people that were upping me about it. It's not against anything in particular. I feel like I am partly a little bit more responsible because sometimes my rant does go. That one was just like during stream, so obviously I cannot control my whatever I'm speaking of, but you guys need to calm down. Also, I do think that they have their own tier list. I have kind of like my idea on it. I know there's some people that have been asking about the tier list of what my tier list is, and I thought about it, but I just also just didn't want to maintain it. So that's part of it.
Okay.
And
I
so
think if Sky did a tier list, that would go crazy, right? Like, I think that would be like, obviously Sky is very known in this community for calculations and stuff like that, right? You literally can watch him for 20 hours straight testing out a character if you wish, right? So I think if Sky was to do a tier list, like nobody would question it. Everyone would just be like, that's the definitive best tier list, right? And in reality, every tier list is opinionated, right? I hope I said that word right. Every tier list, like every tier list is different. No tier list is 100% accurate, right? No tier list is 100% accurate. But if Sky was to make a tier list, everybody and their mother would say this is the definitive best tier list just because of Sky's credibility in this community, right? That's just how it is.
I try to speak units as how it is, how I think I'm gonna use them in the future, especially for Solar Raid. I have a little bit of bias on those. I just want to make sure that none of this gets too escalated. Anyways, I've been seeing kind of like a lot of people bashing Pride when I think different people, different sites have their different ways of testing. I have my own ways of testing. Really,
I got my own ways of testing. It's not about me, but I do got my own way of testing. Obviously, even though I haven't really tested Asuka much, not in videos at least. I've used her obviously off videos, but I haven't recorded much for her. So you guys are gonna get more from me.
that video is more response for me and the people that was addressing it to me. In any case, I just want to quickly de-escalate this because I feel like if I don't address this early on, I think some like things are gonna go quickly down the drain. And I have nothing in particular, anything against Pridewin. I think a lot of you are getting a bit too hasty. In any case, that's it. I don't want this to be too long, but yeah, I just wanted to address play nice and like I mentioned, different people will just have different set of views, and this is just like my own take, right?
Okay.
10 out of 10, no drama.
So obviously I think Sky making this video was a good idea for obvious reasons, right? I don't think Sky could solely like take down Pridewin because how big they've gotten just in general. Like I obviously I know that wasn't his intentions or anything like that. But what I'm trying to get at is like I don't think Sky's credibility could even knock down Pridewin as a website just because Pridewin is so big at this point. But obviously if Sky was to make a video right now saying never trust Pridewin again, damn near everybody that watches that video would say not to watch Pridewin or like not to listen to Pridewin again, right? Especially in the Nikke community, right? I don't know if I would. I don't know how much people are actually using Pridewin compared to how much people are watching Sky. But whoever's watching Sky, if he was to say this is just bullshit, don't listen to these people, yada yada yada. And I know he's not going to do that. He would never do that. But like my point is, if he was to do that, a lot of people would start looking at Pridewin differently. So I think him making a video like this where he's kind of saying like there's no drama, yada yada yada, was a good idea because this whole time, literally, if you go to any of his videos lately, this Asuka situation, this Asuka drama, you would see in the comments everyone's like Pridewin was always wrong, Pridewin was always a bad website, Pridewin was this, Pridewin was that, never listen to Pridewin, yada yada, right? They would all say these things. So it's like for him to say this thing, it's not necessarily, I don't feel like he's saying this just to save Pridewin, because again, I don't think Pridewin is wrong in like their tier list, right? I wouldn't look at this tier list and be like, yeah, these are just bad. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Obviously, there's some things that I wouldn't like. I wouldn't say, Rem, honestly, is double lesson, boss solos, boss ads, and all these things. I would probably consider S for that when it comes to like certain characters here. For example, Amelia. Double S in high deficit, like that I could consider, right? Like there's some questionable things here, not questionable, but some things that I personally would probably move up and down, right? It's kind of like what happened with this Scarlet. When this Scarlet came out, they ranked her like at double S and S, right? Actually, let me show you guys the ranking they gave for Scarlet when she first came out. Okay, so this is what they gave her. They gave her double S on like everything, and then S in late story, and then triple S in boss solos. And now this is her ranking after like all that, right? This is what they gave her on release, and then they changed it to this after all the flock. Because I guess their whole problem was basically that because it's distributed damage, it's like it's not necessarily going to be that good. Like for mobs and stuff like that, which is understandable, but it's like for me at least, in my personal opinion, without calculations and all this stuff, just common sense and testing out the character, Scarlet does so much damage that it really doesn't matter. And I think they realized that later on, hence why they changed. Like, to give her double S in story early, come on, even the distributed damage when she's nuking them. Well, let's be for real, right? PvP, sure, double S. High deficit, sure, double S, because it is a bit more tanky there in high deficit, sure. But boss solos, boss ads, like, mobs with bosses are getting nuked. Boss solos, she smokes them. And then low deficit stories, like literally easy story. So it's like, of course, she would be triple S there, right? Like I think that's just common sense. I didn't have to do calculations to get to that conclusion. I just tested out the character and I used my brain. So that's kind of my point where I say like sometimes they have like some iffy takes, but in reality, I don't think Pridewin is a website that's false or anything like that. I don't think Sky does. So obviously this drama was something that obviously I wasn't really a part of, and kind of glad this time. But then again, I'm making this video. But hopefully after all this, like now this video, Sky's video, all this stuff, everything is kind of just dead, right? We just go back to enjoying the collab, because Ray's coming out soon, y'all. Better Girl is coming out soon. So hey, I'll see you guys in the next one. Pie.